Hey folks, this is David with Carolina Cryptid Field Research, and we're back today. We're on the North Carolina-Virginia border, come back up to a witness investigation that I personally have been investigating. It's been ongoing for the last 10 or so years. And joining me today is Julie Wrench with Monster X Podcast Radio, and the witness here, Pete. He's the witness, and why don't you tell us a little bit about what's been going on up here over the past 10 years?
Well, everybody that lives here has had some type of encounter, but it all started back in 2007. I worked for a power company, and I come home one morning on overtime reduction, and when I got here at the house at 4 o'clock in the morning, I got out and shut the door, and when my car door slammed shut, I heard 3 screams on top of a hill about a quarter mile away, like it was screaming at me when I shut the door. And I really didn't think much about it at first, but it was on, it kept screaming there for like maybe a week or two, and kept getting closer to the house. It got to eventually where I didn't let my daughter ride the school bus. We started taking her to school, and then I think it was 2010, me and my son went out here on the deck one night, and he called me outside to listen to the coyotes. I said, "Son, that's not coyotes." And I knew it was something special going on that night. All the screaming, we heard tree knocking, but this was something special. I told him, I said, "Son, have you got a tape recorder?" And he said, "Hold on a minute, I'll go get something." Well, he went and got a camera, but I didn't know then that they had tape recorders on the cameras. And he started recording it, and it turned into something special, what we got that night.
And that's the audio that we just got, and we're going to be doing an analysis on it and try to clean it up a little bit better, and we'll share that once we get that cleaned up.
But I've heard more tree knocking here. I've heard trees being pushed over. Something that sounds like a chicken, but it's not a chicken. It's too loud to be a chicken.
A rooster.
A rooster or a chicken, and you can hear whoops. But I think but here lately we've heard whistling, like somebody whistling.
Now, is that new to you, the whistling?
What's new to us is the whistling. And me and my wife's both heard that, but everybody here has had some type of encounter.
So you, all your kids,
everybody here,
some type of encounter here.
Yeah.
Over the years.
Oh yeah.
So tell us what happened down here the night on the deck when you stepped out on the deck there and you seen something step out from behind the tree.
It was back in I would say 2012. It snowed in March, and me and my son walked down the deck at night. It was warm, and most of the snow had melted, but it was a full moon that night. It was warm, and it was like daylight out there. And I kept hearing something walking around down at the bottom of the hill off of the deck, and I kept telling my son, I said, "Where's the deer at? I don't see no deer." And about that time, somebody stepped from behind that tree. It was solid white. And then I went inside and got the gun. And I said, well, if it's somebody and they're up in here, they're up to no good. Mm-hmm. So I fired a few warning shots. And then whatever it was took off. And it didn't go back towards the road. It run up the river there. We were standing up on the deck there. And I kept hearing something down in this area moving around. And something stepped out from behind this tree, something or somebody. But it didn't run out, it run up the river there. And when I fired the shots at it, because I didn't know. But you can see right there too. Look right there where something's going up the hillside there. See that?
Yep. So it was over in behind this tree right here.
Yeah. Yeah.
You kind of get a perspective that behind this tree
See where something's going right up through there?
Pete was up on the deck up there at the house, so I don't know if you can make that out.
Like I said, it's been about a month ago, something got my dog.
And it ran in this direction down the river bottom.
And it was all white, you said.
It was like it was just solid white at night, you know. It could have been on kind of the moon, but you could tell it was something or somebody because it was upright. It wasn't black. It wasn't no bear.
So it could have been gray, maybe, in color?
Yeah, it could have been gray or something, you know. But, it was real bright that night. But all I could see was a figure because I kept asking my son, where's the deer at? I kept looking for a deer. It wasn't no deer. It was something or somebody. And they had no business up in here at time of the night. You come up here in this time of night, you up to no good.
Yep. And that was around what time?
12 or 2 o'clock in the morning. I can't really remember.
Okay, so between 12 and 3?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, and it's awful thick in there.
Yeah.
Could you tell about what size this subject was?
I couldn't tell. All I could tell it was a figure, and it was real bright. It was sort of bright with the snow, and everything was blending in.
Mm-hmm.
Now, did you go back down the next morning looking for any tracks or?
Yeah, I did, but I didn't find any.
Okay.
But I told my son about a month before that he was going down the river trapping. I was standing up here on the hill, and I could see a trail going along the river there, and it was real. You could tell it'd been worn. And I asked my son, I said, who's coming up here? Somebody's using that trail, right? Mm-hmm. He said, well, Daddy, I'm trapping down there on the river. I said, well, you only trap once a week. That's on Sunday afternoon. That's a well-worn trail. Somebody's using the heck out of it. And but that's when I had the encounter that night.
And that's the same trail that used to come up right beside the deck right here.
Yeah.
And this is when I first started coming to this property, doing the investigations, and there used to be a trail that went all the way back down to the river. It was well worn. It wasn't a deer trail. It was very smooth, very packed down. Something heavy with a smooth foot made this trail. And I put up a couple game cameras, and as soon as I did that, they stopped using it, and now it's starting to go back to its natural state. So whatever was using it stopped as soon as we put the cameras up.
Mm-hmm.
But here in the last 2 months, I've heard tree knocking, whooping, I've heard screams, the weird chicken rooster sounds, let's see, what else have I heard? And the whistling. That's the newest addition. Last weekend when me and my wife it's been about 2 weekends ago, we come out here on the deck and ate breakfast. It was warm that morning, and it was right after daylight, maybe 30 minutes. I got up and took breakfast, and like I said, we come out, I could hear whistling sounds right out in that area right there. That's what it sounded like it was coming from. And then you could hear it up on that bluff right over there, back over this way. It was a lot further down from where I heard the other activity going on, further down that ridge. And then I whistled, whoever it was whistled, or whatever it was whistled back. And then you could hear whistling all around. That was a weird thing. You could hear whistling back up in here. I'm going, what in the heck? But I don't think there's people hunting. I mean, if it was somebody hunting, they're going to get on a cell phone, or they're going to get on their radio, and they're going to, walkie-talkie something. They're going to say, hey, but don't nobody hunt right down in here.
Now, when you say this, it sounds like a rooster, does the noise travel?
It's a whole lot louder than that. I mean, it's not no rooster, chicken, whatever this is, has a heck of a set of lungs.
And it doesn't stay in one spot?
It don't stay in
from one spot to another?
And that night we heard 7 or 8 of them in the woods. It was full of chickens, and the whole woods was a chicken coop that night. But
yeah, and I don't think that the chickens move around a lot at night because of all the predators.
They have very poor eyesight at night.
Yeah.
And this is like 1, 12, 11, 12, but it goes on into the morning. But what gets me is the screams, yells, howls, and the other stuff too.
Now, do you hear, when you hear the wood knocking, does it sound like it's coming back and forth, like response from one place to another? Do you hear it from more than one location at a time?
Yeah, I've heard it in one and more location at a time. I've heard back in October, right across the street up in the hollow, about 2 o'clock in the morning now, I heard a tree knocking. And then you could hear it off in the distance, maybe half a mile away. You could hear it. And also I've heard like a gun going off. First I thought it was a gun, then I said, no, that wasn't no gun. It was tree knocking.
It's a big power knock.
Yeah,
Yeah.
big, just real heavy knocking. But most of the knocking is at night. I've really heard none during the day. Now the whistling I've heard during the day, early in the morning, right after light. But most of the tree knocking seems to be at night. Norman's grandson, he keeps a place up over here. He was telling me that he come over here one time fishing. He found a pile of dead deer, and right on top of it was a dead cocker spaniel. He said, that was weird. I said, yeah, it was.
Okay, so it was your grandson?
No, it was Norman's grandson, the guy that owns the land here.
Okay.
He found a pile of dead deer, about 7 or 8 deer, and right on top of the deer was a dead cocker spaniel.
Did he say how the deer had died?
He didn't elaborate. He just told me about what he'd found.
A dead cocker spaniel on top of a pile of deer.
Yep.
Sort of odd.
Real odd. As far as the screams and the howls and the yells, that stuff is at night too, or real early in the morning before light.
Now I was down here 3 years ago, I believe. We done an overnight investigation here. We camped out here on the river bottom for 2 nights, and we did hear the what sounds like a half crow scream type of vocal. Never could really identify what it was, but it would be in one direction, and then 15 minutes later it'd be 100 yards down further away. And here again, it's in the middle of the night. And that same weekend, we did have one rock thrown at us, hit the tree above us, and dropped down at our feet. That rock had come out of the river. It was still soaking wet, and it still had the fungus moss on it, the water moss that was growing on the rock itself. So we had FLIR, and we also had night vision, but we were never able to capture anything on video that night. But I have myself and another investigator was here, David Moser, and we've heard the crows, that crow vocal. So it's unique to this area. I've heard of other cases of them using something similar, a similar vocal, but I have never heard it before. But it seems to be unique to this area. So. At night, me and Justin heard it. I knew it was something unique because it was so loud, and it was just different. You know, it just stood out. Like the night I come home and it screamed at me over on that hillside when I shut the car door.
Yeah, that's not really that far away. That's what, 100 yards maybe?
A couple 100 yards.
Yeah, right over here. So it's right here.
And it's right up above my house here on a mountainside here.
And there aren't any houses close by here.
No. The only thing that's close is a dog kennel over here across the river, about a half a mile away. And when the activity gets going on, the dogs really seem to be barking over there.
That's
like last couple of Sundays ago when we heard the whistling, the dogs were barking that morning too like crazy, weren't they?
Yeah, the night we heard the vocal, we would hear it, and then the dogs would just go ballistic, and they'd bark for 15 minutes. And then they would just calm down, and then maybe an hour later you'd hear that vocal again. The dogs would pick right back up. And then I think one time we had coyotes do a whole pack of coyotes started yipping, and they were stirred up by that vocal. So did hear that.
So have you ever had the feeling that you were being watched when you were out on your deck?
Well, I have a feeling I'm being watched all the time when I walk out here at night. All the time. It ain't just one or two times when you walk out that door. You feel like you got eyeballs on you because I'm the only person living here.
So the way things are right now, your wife actually has your son escort her out to the car sometimes at night.
That's correct.
That she doesn't feel comfortable going outside the house
That's
after
right.
dark.
Recently, one of our dogs disappeared. We let it out and it never come back.
Yeah, that was.
And it never went far from the house. And my boy woke me up and said the dog didn't come back in. So
And that was about 6 weeks ago. Yes.
6-7 weeks ago,
Yeah.
it never come back.
Yes. I knew that hadn't been long ago.
No, something got it. Because it never went far from the house.
Anything else you want to add to it?
Back in the day, you know, when I was growing up here, I grew up right here. When I was young, played on these hills, and the old guy that used to live next to me, the guy that used to own this property across the road before they made it a park, and he used to tell me about tales of people hunting in here and getting run out of the woods by something. And one of the old timers used to tell me he carried a gun because you didn't never know what you'd run up on in these woods. And that's back before it was a highway through here.
Yeah.
And some people have been chased out of the woods by something. There's ridges through here, mountains, rocks, Indian rock shelters, old Indian fish traps. This area has a lot of history in it. It goes way back. I think it goes way back for Bigfoot too, because I understand the Native Americans had hundreds of names for them.
Well, I know that we were talking about coming and doing an investigation here overnight for a couple nights, so that's something that we're going to be getting ourselves into here in the coming weeks. So
We'll be
I'm
back.
looking forward to it too.
we're looking forward to coming
Y'all
down
come on
here.
back anytime.
All right. Well,
Thank you.
we're going to wrap this up for now. It's getting dark. We're going to go outside and do a nighttime investigation, see if we can get any vocals recorded or wood knocks. But I want to thank Pete for
Yeah,
sharing his
for
story
sure.
with us, and Julie, Monster X.
It's been a great day. We
Okay.
walked quite a bit today, and
So,
up the ridge and over the ridge, along the river. And some of us kind of sunk in some mud, and so we had quite the day and quite the journey. But it's definitely, if they are around, they would be here. This is
Very
definitely
isolated.
we saw a lot of deer tracks, wild turkey feathers, bobcat tracks. I mean, there's all there's water sources, there's cover, there's different kinds of vegetation, and you were saying that there's some bloodroot and ginseng and
Bloodroot, ginseng, black cohosh, yellow root, and wild ginger all up down
yeah,
this river.
there's all types of different things that this would make a good habitat for these creatures. So I'm looking forward to doing the night investigation. So I appreciate your time, Pete.
Yes, ma'am. Y'all come on back.
All right, thank you.